I live alone in a small apartment downtown. It's nothing fancy, just a one-bedroom with creaky floors and an outdated kitchen. But it's home. I don't have many visitors, and I like it that way. I'm a creature of habit. Every night, I follow the same routine. Lock the doors, double-check the deadbolt, and latch the chain before heading to bed. It's almost compulsive. I can't sleep unless I know everything is locked up tight. So when I woke up at 3:14 a.m. to the sound of something moving inside my apartment, I immediately knew something was wrong. At first, I thought I had imagined it. I stayed completely still, straining my ears. The room was silent except for the faint hum of my refrigerator from the kitchen. I glanced at my phone on the nightstand. No missed calls, no notifications. Then I heard it again. A soft creak, like someone shifting their weight on the old wooden floorboards. And it was coming from inside my apartment. I felt my stomach drop. My first instinct was to grab my phone and call 911, but then another thought crept in. Maybe I had forgotten to lock the door before bed. Maybe someone had just walked in. But when I forced myself out of bed and checked the front door, the deadbolt was still locked. The chain still latched. The windows all shut. There was no way anyone had come in. So what the hell had I just heard? I stood there for a long time, my breath shallow. I slowly turned, scanning my dark apartment. My couch sat untouched, my kitchen empty. There was nowhere to hide, except the hallway closet. I felt a cold chill run down my spine. I hadn't opened that closet in weeks. I don't know what came over me, but I reached out, my fingers trembling as they wrapped around the handle. I yanked the door open in one quick motion. Empty. I exhaled shakily, feeling stupid for even being scared. Maybe it was just the building settling. Maybe I was just tired. I shut the closet, turning to head back to bed. But as I stepped away, I heard one final sound. Not a creak, not a whisper. A soft, deliberate knock. From inside the closet. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next morning, I checked my security camera, the one facing my apartment door from the inside. The footage was normal until 3:14 a.m. Then, the camera glitched for exactly 17 seconds. And when the video came back, my bedroom door, which I always sleep with closed, was wide open. I'm considering moving. My sister and I share an apartment, but we rarely see each other. We have opposite schedules. She works nights, I work early mornings, so most of our conversations happen through text. Last Friday, she left for a weekend trip with friends, meaning I had the place to myself. I was looking forward to it. Just me, a couple of horror movies, and some junk food. At around 11:45 p.m., I was curled up on the couch when my phone rang. My sister's name lit up on the screen. I answered, expecting her to say she had forgotten something, but instead, there was nothing but silence. "Hello?" I said, shifting the phone against my ear. Then, through the static, I heard breathing. Slow, heavy breathing, like someone was pressing their mouth against the phone. "Hello?" I repeated, my voice quieter this time. Still, nothing, just the breathing. I was about to hang up when something slammed from inside the apartment. I nearly dropped my phone. My head snapped toward the hallway, toward my sister's closed bedroom door. The sound had come from inside there. I stared at the door, my heart pounding. My sister wasn't home. I knew that. I had watched her pack up and leave earlier that day. But then, the doorknob rattled. Not a gentle turn, not a small shift. It jerked violently, like someone was trying to open it from the inside. I backed away toward the front door, my phone still pressed against my ear. The breathing on the line had stopped. Then, in the silence, I heard something new. A voice. My sister's voice. But it wasn't coming from the phone anymore. It was coming from inside the bedroom. "Let me out!" I ran. I grabbed my keys and bolted out of the apartment, slamming the door behind me. I spent the night at a friend's place. The next morning, I called my sister. She sounded groggy, confused. She had just woken up in a hotel across the state. When I told her what had happened, she swore up and down she hadn't called me. She even checked her call logs. There was nothing there. No outgoing call to me. Nothing at all. I haven't gone near that room since. I never liked being home alone. Even at 24, something about an empty apartment at night made me uneasy. It wasn't fear exactly, just a vague discomfort, like the walls were too thin or the darkness too heavy. But that Friday night, I told myself it was fine. My roommate, Ethan, had left for the weekend to visit family, and I had the whole place to myself. No distractions, no obligations. Just me, some junk food, and a couple of horror movies. I should have picked something else. Comedy, action, anything but horror. Because once the real terror started, I couldn't turn it off. The first noise. It began just after 11 p.m. I was stretched out on the couch, half watching a movie, half scrolling through my phone when I heard it. A soft scratching sound. At first, I thought it was nothing. The wind, maybe. The apartment was old, and old buildings made weird noises. But a few minutes later, I heard it again. Scratch, scrape, shuffle. I muted the TV. The room fell into heavy silence. For a long moment, nothing. Then, thump. I jumped. The sound had come from above me. Slowly, I turned my eyes to the ceiling vent near the hallway. A metal grate. Nothing unusual. But for a split second, I swore I saw movement inside. A shift in the shadows. I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe something in the air ducts was loose. But as I watched, I realized something. The vent cover, usually secured with screws, looked looser than before. Like someone had been tampering with it. The whisper. I grabbed a drink from the kitchen, trying to shake the unease creeping up my spine. Just as I took a sip, my phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. "Ethan, yo, you good?" I frowned. I hadn't messaged him. Me. "Yeah, why?" A few seconds later. "Ethan, did you just text me? Come back? Thought you needed something?" I stared at the screen. I hadn't sent that. My stomach twisted. I was about to reply when, "Are you alone?" The words were faint, almost blending with the hum of the fridge, but I heard them, and they weren't coming from my phone. They were coming from the vent. I felt ice crawl up my spine, my breath caught in my throat. Maybe I had misheard. Maybe. "I can see you." This time, there was no mistake. The voice was dry, rasping. Like something forcing words through a mouth that hadn't spoken in years. I bolted. The grate moves. I ran straight to my bedroom, locking the door behind me. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely hear myself think. I grabbed my phone and called Ethan. Voicemail. I texted him again. "Me. Someone's in the vents. I'm not joking. Call me." My fingers shook as I set the phone down. I forced myself to breathe, trying to think rationally. Could someone actually be inside the vents? Impossible, right? That's when I heard it. Creak. I looked up. The ceiling vent in my room was shifting. The metal grate trembled slightly, like something was pushing against it from the inside. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Then I saw them. Fingers. Long, pale fingers curled around the edge of the vent cover. Slowly, they pulled. The metal groaned as the screws strained. I wanted to scream, but my voice was gone. The grate snapped open. I ran. The escape. I didn't stop to look. I yanked my window open, climbed onto the fire escape, and jumped. Pain shot up my leg as I hit the pavement, but I forced myself to run. Street lights blurred past me. My breath came in ragged gasps. I didn't stop until I was 3 blocks away, standing in the middle of the road, hands shaking so hard I nearly dropped my phone. I called Ethan again. This time, he picked up. "Dude, what the hell is going on?" he asked. I told him everything. The noises, the voice, the thing in the vent. He went quiet for a long time. Then finally, "I'll be back in an hour." I sat outside a 24-hour diner, staring at the apartment in the distance, half expecting to see something peering from my bedroom window. The aftermath. Ethan got back just after 2 a.m. We checked the apartment together. Nothing. The vents were empty. The grates were all in place. But the one above my bed? It was still open. And inside, there were deep scratch marks in the metal. We didn't sleep that night. Ethan said he'd never heard anything in the vents before, but something about his voice told me he was lying. The next day, we called the landlord. Maintenance came and checked the ducts. Their official answer: no signs of animals, no damage to the vents. Everything looks normal. I moved out a month later, but sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, I swear I hear it again. Scratch, scrape, shuffle. And sometimes I still dream of the voice whispering from the dark, "I can see you."